folks, welcome to my channel. Today's topic is beyond time now. That means living in the eternal moment. As we all know that we are all eternal beings to this profound exploration of one of humanity's greatest illusion. The belief that we are trapped within linear time. Today, we journey beyond the constraints of past and future into the recognition that there is only one time that truly exists, the eternal now. What if everything you have been taught that about time is backwards? What if instead of time carrying you forward, you are the timeless awareness through which all experiences of time appear and disappear? What if the anxiety about the future and the regret about the past are simply stories happening in the only moment that has ever existed, this eternal now? In this way, ancient Vedic understanding, there exists a concept called kairos, not chronological time, but the eternal moment where all possibilities converge. This is not the mechanical ticking of clocks, but the living pulse of existence itself. This is not time has duration, but time has depth, time has presence, time has the eternal now recognizing itself. Einstein's theory of relativity revealed what mystics have always known. That time is relative. That time, it bends and curves, that it is not a fixed framework we imagine, but a fluid dimension of experience. But consciousness goes even deeper than Einstein dared to explore. Consciousness does not just bend time. Consciousness is the space in which very concept of time appears. Take a breath with me now. In this breath, can you find the past? In this awareness, can you locate the future? What you discover is that there is only this, the eternal, timeless, ever-present now, that is your true nature. The physiological time, that is nothing but the prison of physiological time or psychological time. To understand how to live beyond time, we must first understand how we become imprisoned by it. There are two kinds of time, clock time and psychological time. Clock time is practical. It helps us coordinate, plan, and function in the world. Psychological time is the source of all suffering. Psychological time is the mind's story about past and future, the narrative that keeps you trapped in regret about what was and anxiety about what might be. It is the ego's attempt to maintain continuity, to preserve the illusion of a solid self that exists across time. But here is a profound recognition. The self that mind tries to preserve across time is itself a construction happening only in this present moment. Your entire sense of personal history, all your memories of the past, all your projections about the future, they are all happening right now in this moment of awareness. The great sage Ramana Maharshi pointed out to this when he asked, where is the past except in your present memory? Where is the future except in your present imagination? The past and future have no existence outside of this eternal now. They are contents of consciousness, not containers that consciousness exists within. This is why all suffering is rooted in psychological time. Depression is a story that things were better before. Anxiety is a story that things might be worse later. But both depression and anxiety can only exist when you abandon the present moment of this mental construction of time. When you recognize that past and future are simply thoughts arising in the timeless now, something extraordinary happens. The weight of history lifts from your shoulders. The fear of the future dissolves into presence. You discover that you are not a person with a past and future. You are the eternal awareness in which all concepts of time appear and disappear. This does not mean you become irresponsible or lose the ability to plan. It means you use time instead of being used by it. You function with the framework of clock time while resting in the freedom of timeless being. Now, let us understand the neuroscience of present moment awareness. Modern neuroscience is beginning to validate what contemplatives have always known about the relationship between consciousness and time. Dr. Daniel Siegel's research at UCLA shows that when we are fully present, different networks in the brain integrate in ways that promote emotional regulation, empathy, and overall well being. The default mode network of the brain, the network associated with self referential thinking, rumination about the past, and anxiety about the future, becomes quieter when we rest in present moment awareness. The areas of the brain associated with direct experience, embodied presence, and open awareness become more active. Dr. Judson Brewer's studies at Yale demonstrate that experienced meditators shows decreased activity in the brain regions associated with a sense of separate self existing in time. As identification with the time-bound ego dissolves, what emerges is what researchers call effortless awareness. Consciousness recognizing itself without the filter of psychological time. But perhaps most fascinating is the research on how meditation affects our perception of time itself. Study shows that regular meditation practice literally changes how the brain processes temporal information. People who meditate report that time seems to slow down, that moments become richer and more spacious. This is not just a subjective feeling, it reflects a fundamental shift in consciousness. When you rest in the present moment, you are no longer racing through experience, trying to get somewhere else. You are no longer living in the cramped quarters of psychological time. You expand into the spaciousness of being itself. The physicist Carlo Rovel's groundbreaking work suggests that time, as we normally conceive it, does not exist at the fundamental level of reality. At the quantum level, there is no universal now, no absolute simultaneity, no fixed flow from past to future. What we call time emerges from our limited perspective or partial view of a much larger reality. This aligns perfectly with the mystical understanding that what we call time is actually the eternal expressing itself through the appearance of sequence. You are not in time. Time is in you. You are the timeless awareness through which all experiences of duration, sequence, and change appear. The eternal love has creative force or source. When you step beyond psychological time into the eternal now, you discover something remarkable. The present moment is not just a point between past and future. It is a creative source from which all possibilities emerge. The now is not static. It is vibrantly alive with infinite potential. This is what the ancient text means when they speak of the eternal now, not a frozen moment, but the ever fresh arising of existence itself. In the depths of the present moment, you touch the creative principle of the universe. You access what the mystics call the womb of existence, the space from which all experience is born. When you're fully present, you're not just observing life, you're participating in the very process of creation. Every moment of presence is a moment of conscious participation in the unfolding of existence. You become a co-creator with the intelligence of life itself. This is why inspired action, creative breakthrough, and profound insight always happen in the present moment. The future is created from the eternal now, not from mental projections about tomorrow. The solutions to your challenges exist in the depth of this moment, not in the anxiety about what's to come. Think about the greatest artists, inventors, and visionaries throughout the history. They all learned to access this timeless dimension of creativity. They discovered how to step beyond the limiting mind's relationship to time and tap into that eternal source of inspiration. When you live beyond time now, synchronicity becomes natural. What appears to be meaningful coincidences are actually the natural unfolding of consciousness when it is not fragmented by psychological time. Past, present, and future collapse into a single moment of creative intelligence expressing itself through your life. You stop forcing outcomes based on linear thinking and start allowing solutions to emerge from the wholeness of this moment. You stop pushing against time and start flowing with the eternal rhythm of existence itself. This is what the Tao Te Ching means when it speaks of Wu Wei, the effortless action that arises from perfect alignment with the natural flow of existence. When you rest in the eternal now, your actions become expressions of the universe's own creativity. The paradox of timeless living. One of the most beautiful paradoxes of living beyond time is now that as you let go of your obsession with time, you actually gain more time. As you stop racing through moments trying to get somewhere else, each moment expands and reveals itself infinite depth. When you're fully present, 5 minutes can feel like hours of rich experience. When you're lost in psychological time, hours can pass in a blur of unconscious activity. Presence does not give you more clock time, it gives you more life within time. Another paradox, as you learn to live in the eternal now, you become more effective at planning and manifesting in the world of linear time. This is because your plan arises from clarity rather than anxiety, from vision rather than creativity or reactivity, from the wholeness of this moment rather than the fragmentation of psychological time. You stop trying to control the future, start creating from the present. You realize that the future is not something that happens to you, it is something that emerges from the quality of your present moment awareness. The great spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle points out to this beautifully when he says that time is an illusion, there is only the eternal now, but he also recognizes that we must honor practical time by not being enslaved by psychological time. Now let's go into the contemplative depth of the aspect. This creates a completely different relationship with goals and achievements. You pursue your dreams not because you will be happy when you achieve them, but because pursuing them is an expression of your joy in this moment. You work towards outcomes not because fulfillment lies in the future, but because the work itself is a celebration of your present aliveness. You realize that every goal you have ever achieved was achieved in the present moment. Every experience you have ever had was had in a present moment. Every breath you have ever taken was taken in a present moment. The now is not just where life happens, and the now is what life is. When this recognition deepens, you discover that when you are not moving through time towards some distance destination, time is moving through you, and you are the eternal stillness in which all movement appears. Now, let us understand the practical wisdom for timeless living. Now, basically, let us ground this understanding in practical wisdom. How do you actually live beyond time now while still functioning effectively in a world organized around clock time? First, distinguish between using time and being used by time. Use your calendars, make your plans, meet your deadlines, but don't let the mechanical framework of time become a psychological prison. Remember that all of your planning and scheduling is happening in the present moment. It becomes a psychological prison. Practice what I call present moment anchoring throughout your day. Regularly ask yourself, what time is it really? The answer is always now. This simple question interrupts the mind tendency to escape into psychological time and brings you back to the eternal moment that is always available. When you find yourself anxious about the future, remember that anxiety is simple the mind's attempt to solve tomorrow's problem with yesterday's solution. Neither tomorrow's problem nor yesterday's solution exists outside of your current thoughts about them. When you catch yourself lost in regret about the past, recognize that regret is the present moment being clouded by mental stories about events that exist now as memory. The past cannot be changed, but your relationship to your memories can be transformed now. Cultivate what I call temporal presence. Being fully here while honoring the practical requirements of linear time, you can make appointments while resting in timelessness. You can plan for the future while being present to what is. You can learn from the past while not being defined by it. Practice seeing through the illusion of waiting. Whenever you catch yourself waiting for something, waiting for a phone call, waiting in line, waiting for conditions to be different, recognize that waiting is just resistance to the present moment disguised as future orientation. Instead of waiting, arrive. Arrive fully in this moment. Discover what is actually available right now when you're not mentally absent, wishing you were somewhere else in time. The eternal moment of liberation, as we complete this timeless and journey together, rest in the recognition that everything we have explored exists right here, right now, in this eternal moment that is your true home. You're not someone who sometimes experiences the present moment. You are the present moment, aware of itself. You are not trapped in time, moving from birth towards death. You are the timeless awareness in which the entire story of birth and death appears like a dream. The liberation you have been seeking exists beyond time now, not in some future moment of enlightenment, not in some perfect set of circumstances, but not when you have finally transcended all your limitations. Liberation exists as a recognition that you are already free, have always been free, could never not be free also. This freedom is not freedom from time, it is freedom as a timeless dimension in which all experiences of time arise and dissolve. You don't need to escape time, you need to recognize yourself as that which is beyond time while intimately present within every moment. The mystic throughout history have pointed to this some or same recognition using different words: the eternal now, the present moment, divine presence, pure being, Buddha nature, Christ consciousness, Atman, the self. All of these terms point to what you are discovering right now, or discussing right now, or discovering right now. Your essential nature has timeless awareness. Let the search for the present moment end in the finding that there never was anything but a present moment. Let the journey beyond time complete in the recognition that you never left the eternal now, that all concepts of time dissolve into the timeless truth of what you are. You are beyond time now. You have always been beyond time now. You could never not be beyond time now. In the eternal now, there is nothing called no coming, no going, no beginning, and no ending, no you and no other. There's only this, the eternal, perfect, completely. Once again, I say there's only one this, one and only this, eternal, perfect, complete. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next video.